Hey everybody, welcome to Gottober. That's right, Game of Thrones October month is here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Game of Thrones wall, what that means to me, and we're going to compare it to the wall that's in my area, the Cascade Mountains. So here's the wall from the Game of Thrones, and here is the other wall. So maybe we should try another wall. How about that wall? Okay. So this is Mount Rainier. This is in the Cascade Mountains, and the Cascades run north and south from the Oregon border all the way up to the Canadian border in the whole state of Washington. But it goes farther both north and south, but completely covers the state of Washington. So this is a great picture from the sea level going back east towards the Cascade Mountains, and you can see there's a true wall. It actually affects the weather here, and that's one of the reasons why you see and hear about the Seattle weather. Western Washington, all of Western Washington actually, is affected by the weather because the water, the wind blows the water towards the east, and then it literally stops all the clouds and builds up a large level of clouds. This is a building in the town that I live in, and on top of this building you'll see a siren, the white stack on the left side of the building, and that's a Lahar siren. Basically it creates a loud noise, and it goes off every first Monday of the month at noon, and basically lets us know that the Lahar system is working. And the Lahar is basically a loud siren to let us know that if something from the Mount Rainier glaciers break off, those are the large ice buildups, break up and cause a huge tidal wave. As you can see here, the History Channel did a video describing on what it could possibly be, and this is what might happen to the Game of Thrones north, including the Gift all the way down to the Winterfell area if the wall actually collapses or falls. This is just showing the devastation that it could happen in the Tacoma, Washington area. And basically the entire area is going to be devastated. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think the whole wall is going to come down, but definitely part of it. And we probably will be talking about possibly either the Dragonfire or the Wildfire. Obviously the Wildfire is in King's Landing. That's not going to be too easy to get north because it's very volatile. So if it comes down by sea on the ships, I don't think you'll find anybody that wants to pilot those ships. By air with the dragons, I don't think that's going to happen. And definitely by road, it makes it very difficult to travel, and definitely is going to be devastating that way. So the best way probably would be if the pyromancers were to travel north and make it at the wall and then cause a section of it to be burned down. Why, I have no idea, but that's a possibility that we have to look at. So the other thing could be the dragons just come in and cut the wall for some reason, whether they're compelled by the horn that Euron might be carrying, but we'll see and see how that goes. But anyways, this is a picture of Mount Rainier. It is an active volcano. So if the last time it went off was 500 years ago, and every once in a while we'll get fluctuations in the surface temperature causing those ice areas called glaciers to melt, and then that's what you saw in the video previously. About 60 miles to the south of Mount Rainier is the remnants of Mount St. Helens, and in May of 1980 you probably have heard in the histories that erupted and caused devastation. That's a very unpopulated area of Washington, so it didn't affect a whole lot of people, but this is in a much more dense area of the population near Pierce and King County here in Washington, so you'll probably see a lot more death and destruction if that ever erupts. So this is one of the tallest mountains in the United States. It's 14,000 feet tall. The rest of the mountains that are in the mountain range is in the 6,500 area as far as the height is concerned. So much taller than the mountains around it, much different than in the Colorado area where the Rockies, all of the mountains are pretty tall, and so there's not a lot of difference between some of the peaks there. But here in Washington, the neat thing about the mountains that are here on the Cascade Range is that the distance between the large mountains, Mount Baker to the north, Mount St. Helens to the south, is that they are almost the same distance as some of the forts in the Game of Thrones for the Night's Watchmen. So Shadow Tower, for example, Eastwatch by the Sea, and Castle Black are all about the same distance from each other as these mountains are. So it's pretty cool, and basically it's a great comparison that I relate to in talking about Game of Thrones. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. I know you guys can do so many other things, and I really appreciate you coming and joining me in this fun discussion about Game of Thrones, the Wall, and how it relates to me here in the Seattle area. Thank you guys.